just eats food from the woods.
Chuck, don't get close to it.
Hi there, welcome to This Ohio Farmhouse. I'm Johanna, this is my sister Jenna.
Today we're talking about self-sufficiency and making sure that we store up enough food.
Come over here. Come over here and you can pet them.
Hungry little guys.
Hi. Here, come here.
Apparently they don't listen.
No. Pearson, come here. Here, Pearson.
So you might be looking at the world going, maybe I need to start storing some things up. Or maybe you're looking at your friends and thinking they're storing up and maybe you should too.
I think over time we've all gone through periods where we question the condition of the world and what's going on. If you look at history, we've had all kinds of ups and downs and fluctuations and the Depression, and you probably, a lot of you have grandparents that are even maybe still alive that went through the Depression. I know that we do ourselves, and it's interesting to get advice from them and to kind of hear what they have to say. But
they had to learn to be creative, they might have had to barter, and we could be back there soon, whether we like it or not.
we could be. But really, I think rather than being fearful, this is more about just being smart. It's about being prepared. There could be a power outage, or there could be, a storm that comes through, or it could be some kind of catastrophe or an attack on our country, or it could be any number of things. But I think that we want to just make sure that we are the best prepared that we possibly can be,
without living in fear. And of course we can't come up with every scenario, I mean, it's just having some common sense, looking at the season, looking at the economic climate, and just kind of seeing where we're heading.
Yeah.
Sooner than later, we could be in the same situation again. Things cycle. We were just talking to our brother. Well, actually, one of my brothers was talking to Jenna about the trucking company.
Yeah, so he's a truck driver, and he just said within their industry, kind of the thing that they talk about is that if there was a strike for any reason or anything else that were to happen that would shut down the trucking, that grocery stores would be empty in about 3 hours' time. That puts a little concern into my life. It probably should to yours as well. Just thinking through the possibility that in just a really short snap of the fingers that you could be without the ability to feed your family. So.
And again, not to live in fear, but to just have a few things on hand. Some of you might want to prepare for 3 months, for 2 months, for a little longer than that. And you know what? As much as we prepare, we could maybe never be prepared enough. And so that's when it's just us and God. And at that point, He's got us. So, and sometimes when it means He has us, that doesn't always mean things are going to look pretty, but it means that He'll carry us through.
So you might not feel like you can grow your own food right now, or put in a big garden, or even have your own livestock for that matter. So our first tip of advice is to get to the grocery store.
Get as many canned goods as you can, anything that you can store up that will last for a while, rice, beans, just
all kinds of vegetables. Basically any kind of canned goods that you can get your hands on, start storing them up. Now we know that everybody doesn't have like an unlimited grocery budget. That gets a little bit costly. So
store up as you go. Every time we go to the store, we get another can of chicken or beef or whatever, and we just store it up.
Kind of add to our stock. Now I will say that we add things that we eat typically. I'm not buying things that my family don't care for, that we're not going to eat. I buy the things that I know we're going to use, and then we replace them. So we kind of keep an inventory and some stock of things on our shelves, and then as we buy new, we replace the other stuff and kind of rotate.
Because that is really easy to do, is waste a lot of food this way if you're storing some things up. So you just want to watch the dates.
How cute you are. There you
what happened to that? It's like a super carrot. I think it's like only half of it grew. What is it? That's tiny. All right, one of the big reasons that we grow a garden is so that we do have food not only to eat in the moment, but to store away for the entire winter.
And you finally got some carrots.
Finally, they're
Normally,
still
she
not,
doesn't do carrots very well.
they're not the most ideal carrots. I mean, it's a little short and fat. It's okay. We did grow a carrot. That's, you know,
That's a success.
we don't do very well with those.
I haven't even tried carrots, so I can't judge. So
We're gonna master it one day. So if you can't put a really big garden in, it's not the end of the world. There's always space for container gardening, or maybe you can put in just a small raised bed. You can actually get quite a bit of food produced out of a small space. So even if you think that you don't have a really large space to put a garden in, I would say go for it and do something.
There's all kinds of things. Even if you live in a city and you have a balcony, you can do some container gardening stuff like she said. So
I don't know if you can reach. Here.
You can walk in your garden?
Here, can you get this one? Pull this one.
Can
you pull it?
it?
You got one!
It's flat and hot on the side.
It is. Does that look yummy?
he's like,
Get a little dirt. Might want to wash that first. In addition to storing away like things from your garden and canning, you want to make sure that you have plenty of supplies. So we stocked up on some extra canning jars when we actually could find them in stores, and some extra lids. These were in a moment of desperation. We had to buy more rings as well, even though we didn't really need them, but we needed the lids. But if you don't have a garden and you don't have the ability to can and store away your stuff, you can do more what Joanna and Chuck did.
yeah, we've been doing more of the store-bought canned stuff because we just haven't had a big garden. We just did some peppers and tomatoes, but not enough that we, did any canning or anything. But what we did do is freeze some of our peaches, which were amazing. But again, that might only go so far if, say, electricity goes out. So it's good to have a plan B if that happens.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to put all of your eggs in the basket of relying on electricity. Canned goods are going to be a lot more sufficient if you don't have the opportunity to freeze and cool things. So
Definitely.
yeah, so while we do store a lot of things in the freezer, our primary focus is on canning and storing away dry goods. So
Yeah, definitely.
all right, so one of the things that you want to consider is buying your food in bulk so that you can, one, save money and put away a lot more food at once. And so one of the ways that I like to do that is by getting on Azure Standard. It's a really simple way. You can get a membership to Azure for free. You don't have to pay for it, and you can get on there and order large quantities, and then you actually drive to a location and pick that up. It's pretty cool. A very simple process. They're going to notify you when it's close and it's going to be arriving so that you have an actual arrival time. Our closest pickup is only about 20 minutes from our house, which is awesome. People drive hours to get to their
It's
Azure.
really great that that's by us.
Yeah. Their pickup locations, a lot of people drive far to get there because it's worth it, because you can save quite a bit of money. So ours luckily is really close by. It's really convenient. So that's one of the ways that I like to do this. So we go, and in my cart right now, for instance, I have all kinds of things that I'm buying in bulk. And the things that you want to consider besides like rice and beans would be flour and sugar and yeast and things that you need to actually cook from scratch. Because I think a lot of us rely on going to the store and just picking up a loaf of bread. I will bake sometimes, but it honestly takes a long time, and so that's not high on my priority list at the moment. But I have thought through things pretty much like if you can't go to the store and pick that stuff up, what do I need to have on hand so that I can still provide those things for my family?
And bread might be available, but it could be really expensive, for instance. So
That's true. Yeah. This is a food storage bucket. So you can pick these up really inexpensively. These are available like at Walmart. You can go to the bakery and pick them up
For $1?
Yeah, for
So
just
it's only
$1. It's really
Yeah.
inexpensive. But I like to keep the food actually in the package and then keep it in here as another form of keeping it airtight and safe from animals and little critters. One of the things we were reading about is bay leaves.
Yes, you could put bay leaves in to, you know, keep it longer. Just store it right in there with
Yeah,
it.
it'll keep bugs away, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So a lot of
Yeah.
times when you buy bulk flour and things, there's going to be little bugs that naturally just are in there. But it will ward those off and keep them out of your food, which is awesome. Makes it last a lot longer. The Foodsaver is another one.
The Foodsaver is really something you're going to want to have on hand. It's going to keep storage of your food a lot longer. So yeah, definitely get to the store and pick one of these up. Some of the things that we have stored, Chuck and I, is we'll dehydrate some things and we'll put that in here for snacks, for lunches, to store up also just for later. We don't touch some of our stuff for a while either, just so we have it on hand. If something does happen, we try to keep the kids out of it so that they don't eat it all up at once.
One of the things that Ben and I like to do are buy things in bulk, partly because we have a large family and we need a lot of food. We'd be going to the store all the time, but partly because we want to be able to store things for longer term, and so we'll use the food storage in that case. We'll go to this Mennonite store that's close by, and we store up a ton of food from that place because they have discount food. We can buy a lot of organic things there, so we'll go and buy an entire carload of
I keep wanting to go to this place.
cereal and cheese
Yes.
and I mean just lunch meat, all kinds of things are just really inexpensive, so we'll buy them in bulk and then use the Foodsaver to kind of portion them out and to save them that way so that we can just use what we're able to at the time and then store away the rest because it's not really close by. It takes us about, I don't know, 45 minutes to get there. So we don't go all that often. So we try to get lots and then pare it down and store it away. So if you're interested in Azure Standard, we are actually affiliates through there. And so we will link below. We'll give you in the description that information. We do get a little bit of credit and kickback if you were to sign up through us. So that helps us out as well. But I really encourage you to do that because so it's an awesome way to get a lot of food for less cost. All right, come inside quick. We want to show you an order that we just got.
So these nice sturdy totes that you can grab if you needed to. It's the Patriots food that we have, and there's quite a few different things in here. You add water. You got pancake mix, sweet oatmeal, creamy rice vegetable dinner. So it's something that can give you a little bit of comfort, especially like you for Jenna,
Yeah, so this is kind of like the last resort. If you're running out of the food that you've provided or saved up for your family, this is the emergency fund right here. This is the backup of the backups. If you ever had to leave the house, if it became unsafe for any reason to be there, these totes we could grab and throw them into the car. So there's definitely some reassurance in having these on hand. I'm relieved to have them. I'm hoping that we can, afford to kind of increase this and get even more of them. Because with a large family, we're not going to last near as long.
And they last 25 years, I believe.
Yeah, so you can just keep them on the shelf and have them on hand just in case anything ever did get crazy. So, good insurance policy.
So glad you hung out with us today. We sure hope that you were able to find some tips that might be helpful for you and your family.
This is the third video of a 3-part series. Our first one was on medicines and treating your family at home with homeopathy, essential oils, and different supplements. So that's a really helpful video. If you want to check that one out as well, we will link that below in the description. The second one that we did was on different products and things that you should have on hand, thinking through different scenarios, how to access clean water, all that kinds of different things that you should prepare for and have on hand, such as like tools and things like that. And then this one wrapped it up as the series that we're just talking, hopefully, tips that you can gain on storing away food for your family.
And again, this isn't out of fear. We know who ultimately our provider is, but this is just common sense, looking at what's going on in the world and the season that we're living in, and just storing up a few things that could be helpful.
If you have any advice that you want to share with us or with the other people watching, please throw that in the comments below. We would love to read what you have to say and what you would like to share with us. Thank you for watching again. We will see you next week on This Ohio Farmhouse.